entrepreneur, anointed by God, animal rescuer. I'm the Black Noah. God gave me dominion over animals big and small, from cats, birds to dogs. I'm the Black Noah.
Okay. Hi, everybody that's on. I wish we could play this music more and wait longer, but Calvin has so much to share and to talk about. We really can't wait any longer. And I know some people have to leave, may have to leave earlier. So welcome everybody that's here. That, as you heard, was Calvin Tucker's very own theme song, just for him. I know that most of you all know that the speakers that I choose for these meetings have definitely overcome challenges and obstacles, and you're going to learn from them on how they just keep going, and it's just more of the layers of what we like to teach and what we like to learn, what we like you to learn. We like for you to follow in their footsteps possibly and be inspired. You're definitely going to be inspired by how much Calvin does and what he will, the extent he will go to. But in this case, this is not going to be a case where you're going to follow and do the same thing, because you're also going to learn why he's able to do what he does, where other people cannot. You'll know what we mean in a couple minutes. So welcome, Calvin. I know you're very, very, very busy. Reese is here saying hello. Is the kitty here? Say hello. And we appreciate your time and you're sharing your information and your experience with us. So I'm going to hand it over to you. If you can, first of all, tell us about how you started, why you hated cats in the beginning, and how you met Henry, who was the reason to make you change your mind.
I just grew up not an animal person for real. Always hated cats. If you had a cat, I wouldn't come to your house. I didn't want the fur on me. I didn't want the hair on me. I was allergic to them. So, I even broke up with a girl once upon a time because she had a cat and I couldn't deal with it. So hate is a very strong word, but I really hated cats. Then God said, watch this. And he sent Henry. He was a little 4-month-old gray kitten. I was leaving my job one day, November 15, 2015. Was leaving my job. I worked with kids with autism, Asperger's. So I was leaving my job to go home for that shift, the end of that shift. And there he was sitting by my car tire. And I went back in, I got him some goldfish crackers. I rinsed the salt off of them. I put them in a bowl, gave him a bowl of water. Knew nothing about cats. But the way he looked at me, it was just, it sparked something in me. I couldn't just get in my car and drive off. And I'm pretty sure I passed thousands of cats in my lifetime, just seeing them different locations, but never wanted to help, never tried to help, just didn't like them. But whatever reason, something just sparked in me. And the way he looked at me, I can't articulate it into words, but I had to give him some food, gave him the goldfish crackers, some water. I stopped at the store on my way home. I bought some cat food, some wet cat food. I said, if he's there in the morning, I'll feed him. If he's not, that's even better. I got there for my shift the next morning at 7 o'clock, and there he was. And this went on from November 15th to 2015 to January 10th, 2016. So roughly a month and a half, 45 days I fed him. And on January the 10th, 2016, 45 days later, I took him home and took him to the vet, and that started this whole mission. So basically, he is the reason I do what I do every single day, 7 days a week. It's because of that one kitten.
He's the inspiration. So how many colonies and how many cats do you care for now? How many colonies in the area? If you have an idea of how many you've TNR'd, how many you've rescued since then, what's a typical day for you with all of the colonies and the cats that you feed?
I feed 18 different colonies. Altogether, the numbers are about 95 to 100 cats that I feed 7 days a week. It takes about 4 hours because they're all spread it out through 2 different counties, Jefferson as well as Shelby. So takes about 4 hours a day. Each colony is spread it out, maybe a 20-minute drive. So a lot of driving. I've TNR'd well into the 700s, gotten well over 700 cats TNR'd. I've gotten homes now for 149 cats, forever homes. And with God willing, I got two puppies that I recently rescued, and we have a potential adoption happening soon. So if that goes through, that'll be 51 dogs I've gotten homes for, 149 cats.
Wow, that's awesome. So I touched on the beginning about, the reason you're going to find out why he can do what he can do. It's because Calvin's troubles past has come full circle. And I say this because he's already shared with me that he doesn't regret anything that's happened, except for one thing. So it's clear to that he'll reveal how his troubled past has come full circle and now has become the purpose for being able to do what he does now in the dangerous areas. So Calvin, share a little bit more about what I'm talking about by telling the students about your community, about the violence and the crime in Bessemer, and what type of dangers that you and risks that you face daily in these deprived neighborhoods and crime-filled neighborhoods to go out and do what you do.
Well, Bessemer, Alabama is a little dot on the map, but it's always in the top 7 most dangerous cities in the United States. There's a lot of murder goes on here. I personally lost 40 friends to gun violence over the years. Lost a lot of more to the penitentiary that's doing life. Some are doing triple life. Every day there's a shooting. A couple of times a week there's murders. Very small town, so it's so congested that everyone kind of knows everyone, and there's not a lot of opportunities for jobs and things of that nature. So there's a lot of violence. There's a lot of crime. At one point in my life, I was part of that problem. Now I aim to be part of the solution. And I just feel like God gave me a second chance at life. So, that's why I take this rescue thing so hard. But statistics shows that 1 in every 8 people in Bessemer is going to be the victim of a violent crime. So it's a lot of death goes on there. And like I said, at one point I was out there gang banging, running with gangs, selling drugs, but I changed my life, turned my life around. And I think that's why I'm able to do what I do now in this violent city, because I was once part of that problem. So everybody's that's still out there that hadn't really changed their life, I know them, they know me personally. So it's like I got full immunity to just navigate through the city, and none of the killers, none of the dope dealers, they mess with me. They just look at me, some of them, like, man, we so proud of you, you changed your life. So, while all that violence is going on, I'm just out there just trying to feed cats and get cats to the vet and get them home. So I don't regret anything I went through, because unfortunately too, Bessemer has a very, 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 it's like a third world country when it comes to dogs on chains. If we ride 10 blocks, we're going to see 50 dogs on chains. Some of them no houses. I just took 2 dogs that was on chains Sunday, dog houses and straw. You'll see them chained to big trees with chains as big as your shoulder. 20-pound chains, no houses, so they get rained on. When it's cold, they're in the cold, the elements, no protection at all. So I knock on every door I see a dog at. A lot of times I'm cursed out. A lot of times it's, I've had a guy pull a assault weapon on me, but none of that phases me because the way I grew up. So I'm thankful the way I did grow up because, you never know what's going to be behind one of those doors when you knock it. So I don't think I could do that if I didn't grow up in those streets like that. If that makes sense.
Yep. Just telling some of our volunteers that, we have a big problem up here with the cats in the Northeast, whereas, it's not as predominant as the amount of dogs that you have running around as well. So what do you do when you see it? How do you make the decision as to whether to rescue the dog, to take the dog, to find out if somebody it is their dog, and if they want to keep the dog, how do you approach them to either try and help them or ask them to surrender?
95% of the dogs you see on the streets just roaming. They're not going to be anybody's dog in Bessemer. That's just is what it is. The other 5%, even if they broke out, the people don't care. Because if they cared, they wouldn't have them chained up. People use dogs down here as just alarm systems. They'll have them chained to the trees, no shelter, nothing. So basically, if I see a dog roaming, if I'm able to get that dog, I'm going to get the dog, get it to the vet, see if it's microchip. If it's not microchip, I'll share it on a couple of sites. But it's never 100% of the time. It's never ever happened to where someone say, "Oh, that's my dog." So then, I fully vet the dog, get it spayed, neutered, dewormed, all the shots, vaccines, and I try to find it a home or to go to a dog rescue. As far as if there's a dog that I see in trouble at someone's house, for instance, Sunday, knocked on the door, I talked to the people, they were very receptive. They had the dogs in 2 big dog crates that had just poured down the night before. So basically those dogs sat in a dog crate and got rained on for about 6 hours. So I knocked on the door. Once I saw them, asked them, could I help? I bought them some dog houses. I bought them some straw. I gave them some dewormer medicine. I gave them some Bravecto for fleas and ticks and things of that nature, heartworm. So that's what I try to do. I try to, be an ally to them. And, I don't go pointing the finger or whatever, so basically that's my strategy.
Talking about the chained dogs, I know you're starting another drive and another mission to add to reaching out to people to find out ways to change the laws, to change to improve the social justice in your town for the animals and for the humans but the roadblocks that I understand that you are facing are with your animal control officers and the elected officials who are, for lack of a better word, afraid of the gang, so they don't even do as much as you do. Is that correct?
I'm animal control in Bessemer. Okay, I'm animal control. There's a lady by the name of Belinda that's supposedly animal control, but even the cops have told me she's terrible. A Bessemer cop told me that she once told him, I'm not going to a house unless the dog is dead. Okay. So basically I'm animal control and I don't even work for the city. So, the only way to change these laws and help these dogs we're going to have to get certain people out of office and get people in that cares and that, have an initiative to change it, so I have a meeting coming up with a city councilwoman.
Perfect.
And I want her to just ride with me around. I want her to ride. She's from Bessemer. I'm pretty sure she's seen it. but I want her to see it through my eyes, what I see every day, what I go in. I want her to knock on some doors with me, get a couple of guns pulled on her, and see just what I go through to try to help these dogs when, you know, I'm not even, you know, a politician or anything. I just have compassion and just want to help these animals. So I'm hoping that open her eyes, and I'm hoping that we can shake some things up and change the laws, because that's the only way I see it's gonna help these animals. I've never seen anything. When I lived up north in Boston, it was totally different. Like, I never ever seen a stray dog, ever. Never. You ride through Bessemer for 5 minutes, and I promise you, you'll see 15 dogs just roaming the streets, pregnant, little puppies. You'll see dogs in the street dead where they've been hit. It's nothing for people to shoot dogs here.
So guys, I can't see everybody on the call, but I'm guessing that most of the people on the call, Calvin, are volunteers who are part of the program and part of the schedule to feed community feral cat colonies. So they're out there feeding, they're out there starting already, and they're not only doing it and helping it and working to take care of these cats out there. There's about 48 that we care for, but they're enjoying it and they're learning, and they don't have it as tough as you do. I mean, our rescue is definitely out there to help the underserved and the overlooked. You're doing that, and on top of that, in dangerous, very, very dangerous areas with a lot of risk. And the efforts that you take are so admirable. As these volunteers are helping, they each have their little favorites. So why don't you share with us? You've given me a couple favorites to share some photos with. Share with us some stories of your favorite rescues, how you rescued them. I know Mama and Kitty Boy were one of the first house guest or residents in your new sanctuary.
I fed, yeah, there they go. I fed both of them. There was two more. Mama is the calico, Kitty Boy is the black. There was two more siblings with Kitty Boy. Fortunately, one was hit. They were in a very dangerous location right next to the highway. They was living behind a restaurant. So a lot of traffic in that restaurant, drive through. They was living behind the dumpster. And then there's a freeway right next to it. You come out of the driveway and you turn on, make a right, and you're right there on the freeway, highway, I'm sorry. So long story short, there was two more siblings with Kitty Boy. Unfortunately, one was hit, and I got her and buried her. Another one disappeared. She then had two more litter. I mean, she did have one more litter, 4 little kittens. I got all of them out of a ditch. They all tested positive for feline leukemia. So that let me know that Mama and Kitty Boy was going to be feline leukemia positive as well. So I timed it to where I would get them right as I was, opening up this place. So I got them, and I got them here now. Of course, they both did test positive for feline leukemia. But the funny thing about this whole story is, like I say, that's Mama the calico, Kitty Boy the black cat. I had so many people that followed their journey for 11 months of me feeding them. I would go about twice a day and feed these guys. I would call out to Kitty Boy. So once I got him to the vet, got him spayed, and thought there was going to be a neuter, there was 2 spays. So Kitty Boy actually turned out to be a girl. But I had been calling her Kitty Boy for 11 months, so I couldn't change it. So,
She's still
Kitty Boy.
And
that's one of my favorite couples right there.
they the volunteers on experienced some of our cats doing that, you know, cross tails and head butting together as well. You guys should go on his Instagram page as well, which is is it at Black Noah 1 or just at Black Noah?
At Black Noah 1.
At Black Noah 1. I watched your the day you trapped them. And if you didn't have, I mean, I saw the video of you trapping Kitty Boy first and then having Mama go near it and around it. And I know firsthand for years and hundreds of cats of how much you are holding your breath and your adrenaline is going. But on top of that, you were praying to God to help him get that cat in there. There was literally chimes from a church going on in the background, and it ended just when she went in the trap.
Right.
So that was just like,
I don't know if you remember the other one when there was a cat going in a trap and she was eating the food. That cat is in Wisconsin now. She lives in Wisconsin, but there was a cat in the trap. She was eating the food. She was being picked on in the colony. And I said, okay, God, shut the door. And the door shut, like right then. As soon as I said door, I don't even think I got door out my mouth. I was like, okay, God, shut the door. And the door just shut. She had been in the trap for 3 minutes. As soon as I said, okay, I thought the trap was going to malfunction. And because she had eaten all of the food and she was just standing, she did not move. Like she did not take another step. She did not step on the trap plate, the trigger. She did not take another step. And I just said, okay, God, shut the door. And it just said, boom. So yeah. I think he hears us.
So the next one you have is a very, very surprising rescue. And that would
Oscar.
be Oscar.
Oscar the pig.
How did he show up in Bessemer?
Basically, he was behind a strip plaza, a strip mall. We figured someone dumped him. He went to a pig rescue and they felt the same. Where he was, it was just not possible for him to get there because he's surrounded by nothing but businesses. So it was just not like he could just get out of someone's yard and make it there. It's not possible if you knew the location. It's just businesses. Right. So unless someone had him living in a business, then it's not possible that he escaped someone's yard and made it there. So the rescue that took him in is a pig sanctuary, and they say they see it all the time. They get and he's only 2 months old from what I learned. Oh. But they get them when they're weeks old, 8-10 weeks old. They're really small and look really cute. And then they start growing like he did because he was about the size of a medium-sized dog. So he was definitely getting big. And they say he'll be about 300 to 400 pounds once it's all over. But you know how it is. They get them when they're young and small. They look cute. They start to grow. And now they don't want them anymore. So that's what we feel happened with Oscar. But Oscar will not end up as bacon on someone's plate. I made sure of that. So he's going to live his life out at this pig sanctuary.
That's awesome. And a special dog boy that you mentioned was your favorite dog rescue. Tell us his story.
Probably my favorite rescue ever. And I've rescued so many, but Moses, the big boy, as I call him. I just so happened to be going to work one night and I got off at a store that I never ever really go to get some snacks before I went to work. And there was Moses tied up at this location. He had no food, no water, so I gave him some food. Only thing I had that night was some cat food. I gave him some food. Bought him some dog food. The next morning, I went by to check on him, and he was like such the sweetest boy, like from day one. So I would go twice a day, 7 days a week. I talked to the owners. I gave them food. I offered to pay for his vetting. They didn't want any help with him. And basically, it was at a business, and they closed on Fridays. So I asked who fed him, on the weekend, and basically he told me, hey man, that's a dog. It don't need to eat every day. So basically, Moses wouldn't eat from Friday to Monday if he ate at all, because I had no sign of them. I saw no signs of them feeding him ever. If you watch some of the videos, the water that they had in the big bucket was always green with algae.
Yeah.
It was just terrible. He had sores all on his ears, on his head when I first met him. I gave him antibiotics. I put medicine on his sores, and I nursed him back to health. I offered vetting, gave him food. A month later, the food was still in the bag, unopened. So they basically just had him living outside in a doghouse, a makeshift doghouse, chained up, I guess, as security. And this guy's too sweet. He wasn't going to bite anything or bark at anything. So there's a guy named Doom that follows me. No one knows who Doom is. He's like a mythical figure in Bessemer. No one's ever seen him. No one's ever talked to him. Only thing we know is that it's like an urban legend. If you don't take care of your dogs, Doom will show up and get them and get them into good homes. Obviously, Doom saw the story of of me rescuing this guy. Feeding this guy, and the next thing we know, Doom got him, and now he lives in a great situation, from what I was told.
Teamwork. I think. Okay, there's your next pic. These were the dog that I couldn't get to at the end. These were the pictures that you had sent me of the chain dogs. So
if you look at the one on the right, you look at the picture on the right where the car is, you'll see them in the dog crates.
That's what I was going to ask. That's how they were keeping them at first until you provided them with the dog houses.
They stayed in those dog crates. I assume they stayed in those dog crates forever. Like I had just run across these dogs the day before, and they were just, look how big that dog is in that crate. Now it had rained that night before, and I mean hard. So they got them tied.
They were closed.
Were the crates closed?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
So those two houses that you see on the left, two pictures, I brought them the day after I first saw the dogs, and I put straw in them. And like I say, this couple, they was, basically they just needed some education. Very poor family. They said it wasn't working. Like I said, I don't go to point fingers. I just wanted to help. They was receptive of the help. They wanted the dog houses. They immediately put the dog houses up together, put the straw in. I brought him food. He immediately fed the dogs. So, try to be an ally to him, and eventually see if maybe he'll surrender the dogs, if he can't take care of them. So basically that's what will happen.
He knows to reach out to you.
I see him every day now. I go by every day.
Good. Well, you certainly see the worst of the worst, and go where many do not and cannot. Many rescuers, including myself, develop, continued anger and compassion fatigue and depression and anxiety. But you go through even worse, war zones, so to speak. What keeps you going?
God. That's the only thing I can say. God. If it wasn't for God, I would have been had a mental breakdown or something like that. We just lost two little kittens Sunday night.
I saw them.
I was only told about them a couple of hours prior to of trying to rescue them. Stuff like that, it really bothers me, and it takes a toll on me a lot. But I think, once again, what I went through in my past prepared me for this. Like I say, I've lost 40 friends to gun violence. And I think that really prepared me for what I do in rescue today with these animals. I think that and my faith in God, I think that's what keeps me going. It's gotta be.
Yeah, it's a heck of a trip to take for, but that was a journey. That was a, the full circle of your journey to be able to put you in these horrible places to be able to handle, getting these dogs and cats where nobody else would. So, gosh, we're gonna open it up to questions. If anybody has any questions, I don't know if you guys, like I said, some of these, probably everybody on is now feeding the cats, but we're feeding up in top of a mountain reserve. So keep in mind, guys, as the weather starts getting colder and it gets darker, that maybe we don't have to complain about little things like that, knowing what Calvin goes through. But what else, what hopes do you have for students now, and what can you, advice that you maybe give them to just continue with, they're on a great start now and helping with the cats. How does that make you feel to have seeing the students involved, and what you can tell them to keep going?
It's a beautiful thing. I wish I could have gotten into it when I was their age, but everything happened for a reason, I feel. It was meant for me to get into it when I did. I often play in my mind, what if I would have gotten into rescue when I was their age, like the impact I could have made, the amount of animals I could have saved. Only thing I can say, guys, is never lose your compassion. These animals really, really need you guys. They depend on you. I know as you build relationships and bonds with them, I know I see it. When I pull up, they know my car. Certain stops I pull up, they'll all just run toward the car. These are totally feral cats. I can't touch any of them. But they see the car, they run towards the car, and they just sit there and wait. So to me, that means everything to me. That's why I get up in the morning. That's why I continue to do it. So I just say to you guys, never lose your compassion. If you feel yourself getting burned out, don't be afraid to take a mental health break, because compassion fatigue is real. We could put so much into these animals that we'll start to neglect ourselves. And so I just implore you to keep going, and just know that you're making a difference. What you're doing matters. What you're doing is important. A lot of people look up to people like LeBron James, Deontay Wilder, Tyson Fury, whoever, these sports celebrities. I look up to guys like you. Y'all are my heroes, the ones out here helping these animals, being the voice of the voiceless. I don't look up to a LeBron James or Michael Jordan or Floyd Mayweather. I look up to you guys. You guys are my heroes. And I mean that seriously.
I know you do. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Thank you, Calvin. Anybody have any questions?
We have a question on the chat.
Thank you for checking that.
And it's centered around what have, there's a lot of conversation on ways that we can support, donations and kind of inspire people to donate in any way that they can. What are some strategies that have worked for you in your community?
As far as getting donations?
That's a good question, because you know what, that's, Calvin is definitely, you have a huge support system.
That I gotta attribute that to the dodo. Being on the dodo, that did that for me. When I first started out, it was just me working 2 jobs to support these colonies. And And I did that for 3 years. Every surgery, every spay neuter surgery, every bag of dog food, every can of cat food came out of my pockets. Me working 2 jobs. At first I was just working with the kids with Asperger's and autism, but then I took a second job working at car delivery shop auto parts shop, where I would deliver parts because I needed to make extra ends to, help the animals as the colonies grew. Then I got on a local news station here, which brought some local support, people donating, things of that nature. Then I got on another news station, and it just started happening locally for me, where I was getting donations. And then when the dodo thing came, that's when I, got all the, thousands and thousands of followers, and that support system went. But I just say, to get support, I don't know if you guys can do this or whatever. I tell people all the time, like, who ask me that same question, Rescuers Here, how can we start to get more donations to help? And I say, video, video what you're out there doing, share it to social media, and it's going to happen. People are going to want to help. It's so many, you'll be surprised how many people out there want to help the animals but can't get out and be boots on the ground, but they have the money to help support you and support the animals, and they love it. It's all about being transparent. So to answer your question, I just keep doing what you're doing, and the support is gonna pick up. Definitely.
Any other questions?
That's all the questions that are in the chat.
Thank you. Thank you. Calvin, thank you very, very, very much. I know you've got some kittens waiting to be fed as well, the new kittens that came in the other day. Everybody, go on their social media pages. If you're not on the Only Kindness Rescue social media pages, join us as well. Please share both our pages so that we gain more support. If you have any other questions, that come up afterwards, let me know, and then, I'll direct them to Calvin, and he is always available to get some information to us if we need it.
Absolutely.
And I thank you so very much for all your time, your valuable time, Calvin.
You're most welcome. I enjoy it. Appreciate you having me. Isabel, I'm sorry. Thank you.
All right. And there we have it. Such a nice, another wonderful Pioneer Paws Zoom paw call. Have to say it slowly. Thank you guys. Thank you, Calvin, so much. Have a great day, everybody.
Thank